I understand that China's operating these Uyghur concentration camps and doing very, very horrible things that we're not doing. But my view is, while China may be morally bankrupt to a substantially worse degree, the United States has no leg to stand on. We've got a corrupt government that's been corrupt. It's been the country's been extracted for its value, its labor being extracted for decades. You've got interests in the United States working with China to send our labor over there. You've got Joe Biden flying on Air Force Two with his son to do private equity deals with China. The United States at this point is a shell of whatever it may have been 100 years ago.
The federal government for sure, but the states are powerful, especially some of them.
And many of the states are aborting kids at 9 months and giving and sterilizing children.
But look at the growth of Timcast. Look at this extraordinary operation. In what other country would this have happened?
I don't think it could have in any country other than the United States.
But look, we have a modicum of influence and power compared to even CNN. And it's funny because people might
be... But you just got started in relative terms. I mean, they've been around since 1980.
Sure. You know? I mean, you look at a lot of the big networks and what happens. YouTube will suppress us every step of the way. And the tactic they have is you censor shows like ours at 49% and prop up shows like CNN at 51%. So in the long run, you fail and they succeed. They will absolutely make sure that what happens fits the corporate algorithmic structure, which is moral decay and a psychotic expansion of the woke cult. The United States may very well succeed in many regards. I'm not completely... I don't think the United States will cease to exist. I think what's going to happen is if there is a large-scale global war of some sort, we're not winning it. The petrodollar will fall. The economic standing of the United States will be wiped out. We will lose our control on military bases in many other countries. Most of the military bases probably will collapse and fall into the control of the countries that they're in. And then the people who are smart enough to get out of cities and start taking care of themselves will probably succeed. And then we'll see a new generation of people in the United States building up, becoming economically resilient, starting businesses. It will not be like the U.S. just ceases to function. But as a global unipolar world, it's done. China, we're now multipolar. It's now China, the U.S. Russia is clearly, either. I don't think Russia's going to fall. Russia's probably going to work with China. We may see some grand war, but I don't see how the U.S. actually is able to pull through, considering what we're witnessing now internally and in our own military. Nobody wants to join. Young people are completely disaffected. Their brains are shattered by nonsense, garbage, social media algorithmic crap. Like, they actually believe Marxism makes sense because they don't know what they're talking about. You see these videos of young people saying the stupidest things you've ever heard, and you're like, man, Greta Thunberg, I mean, she's not American, but she's outright saying, kill 60 million people overnight when she says, we must end fossil fuels now, we're not going to wait. It's like, okay, yeah, if you ended fossil fuels right now, like New York just banned natural gas, these people, their brains are broken.
This is the demoralization. Broken. This is
Absolutely.
Yuri Bezmenov talks a lot about this.
They've been wrapped up on this social media algorithmic garbage that tells them whatever the algorithm promotes, that's what you must adhere to. So these young people see climate change as bad. Then you end up with politicians saying, tell me what to do so you'll vote for me. And they say, ban natural gas. And he goes, okay, no more gas stoves. Are you kidding? Natural gas is a large component of how we generate electricity. How about we do nuclear power? No, these people are too moronic because of what they read on the internet to know nuclear power is clean and actually the best way to generate electricity. So I see in this country, the cities are corrupt. They're decaying. The federal government is corrupt. It's in decay. Our best chance, in my opinion, is probably Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, maybe a Trump-DeSantis ticket, but that's going to require a serious amount of force to go in and start arresting and criminally charging the corrupt politicians who are doing insider trading, who are illegally targeting American citizens with in unjust criminal probes. They're going to have to start firing all the bureaucrats, and that's a decade-long project plus. You can't reverse 50 years of corruption overnight. And the problem with all of that is while Trump may want to do it, he's facing resistance from nightmare zombie politicians who just want to get in office so they can buy and trade stock while the Titanic sinks. I am not confident in the federal government outside of the United States, and I'm not confident that we are going to be the dominant unipolar power. I don't even think we're going to be a superpower in 20 or 30 years.
There's one word that did not appear in all that you said. God.
Mm-hmm. There's a strong lack thereof in this country.
In other words, if you regard that the cities are corrupt and you regard that the federal government is corrupt, those are two large sectors right there, right, of our society, federal government, municipal government. What does that leave? You've got business, right, which I presume you also regard as hopelessly corrupt and woke.
Absolutely.
Okay?
It's not even about woke. It's just mindlessly corrupt and has been.
Okay.
Obsession with
So
money.
then there's, one, traditionally anyway, there was one other major power center in this country that had the ability to move people, to motivate people, and even to feed people, and that was the churches, right?
Yeah,
and,
gone.
and faith. And so that's why I
Correct.
bring it up.
Yeah, we need a sea change. We need a collective consciousness, something to change.
This country has experienced a severe moral and communal decay over the past couple decades. And these past 10 years have been a rapid acceleration of it, to the point where starting around 2016, 2017, you started to see serious conversations in corporate press about civil war and the real prospect of it. A Princeton professor coming on, I think it was like MSNBC, saying we are in a cold civil war. You start seeing factions fighting in the streets. You're seeing crime running rampant in all of our major cities with no willpower to do anything about it. In fact, in Chicago, despite the fact that crime is increasing and people don't feel safe there, they elected an even further left politician. So that's why I say get out of these cities. Do I think we as the United States will get through this? I really do. But the night is always darkest before the dawn. If you want to stay in these places, it's going to get bad. If China wants to take Taiwan, we may resist, but they're probably going to get it. I just, looking at how the federal government is acting, what I see as our best path forward is Trump getting in office, following through with Schedule F. We need some serious criminal justice action. I'm talking getting an AG who starts going department to department and issuing criminal indictments on, say, people in the FBI for targeting American citizens with trumped up BS and ignoring the far left extremists who have done comparable things or worse things.